As we continue now our conversation with Irene Garcia, the investigative reporter from Judicial Watch, and our good friend, Boston columnist and talk show host star, Howie Carr. That kind of rhymes. Folks, thanks for coming in. We began our talk with you, Irene, about the report. This administration is considering bringing in foreign Ebola patients, and I'm just curious, how might Mr. Klain's appointment fit into that plan?
That remains to be seen. I think that there is some behind-the-scenes coordination that is taking place from the American public. They want to keep this as quiet as possible because I think there'll be public outrage, bipartisan public outrage, might I add, to bring highly infectious, communicable diseases into the country would be outrageous. There's also tremendous concern, and Judicial Watch has public records requests regarding our troops. We have troops in Africa. How does the government to protect our troops and bring them back? That's another thing, So there has to be. It's crazy what's going on, and there has to be better coordination, and the American public, they have to be more forthcoming with the American public.
Well, let me turn to Howie for his take on this. So, Howie, you've got Ron Klain. I guess we could call him an Obama apparatchik in place here. What happens?
How about a hack? That's an easier.
Okay, it's an easier thing to say. Sure.
Yeah, I would look. This guy is just a political operative. That's all he's ever been. You look at his tweets. Today, JD, check it out. He's been on at least 4 vacations this year. He loves to have his picture taken with high-ranking Democratic pals. The only experience he has in any kind of epidemic was he was Joe Biden's chief of staff during the SARS outbreak in 2009. That was when Uncle Joe issued his famous statement of reassurance. I wouldn't want to be in a confined space right now. And that as you recall, caused quite an outcry, and they had to walk that one back. So this guy has zero experience. He's a fixer. He's the guy. If you like Solyndra, you'll love Ron Klain.
So with being a fixer, what theory do you have based on Irene's report about bringing in non-American Ebola patients, bringing them into the country for treatment? How does he try to fix that and make that happen, Howie?
I think you know this better than me, JD. The best kind of political operative takes orders. It's like the Army. Yes, sir. No, sir. You say jump, I say how high. And Ron Klain will do what he's told, and that's his key. And that's his key qualification for the job. He's just there to be the guy who is the flag catcher for the administration. It's a dirty job, and somebody dirty's got to do it, and they picked Ron Klain.
And let me go back to Irene. Irene, a little more than a minute in this particular segment. Just give me the lowdown, the news that Klain has already missed 2 White House meetings on Ebola. Have you heard any excuses coming out of the administration? Was he not needed and he's the czar?
Yeah, no excuses, no explanation. They feel that they don't have to explain. What's behind the scenes is probably pretty big, pretty broad and big in scope, and they're not informing the American public. And in the meantime, the borders must be shut. The flights from West Africa must be seized, and they haven't. And back in July, remember how Congressman Folk-Ingry wrote to the CDC back in July about the illegal immigrants coming through the border and some of the diseases they were bringing. He had gone down there himself to investigate, and he mentioned Ebola. This was back in July. So this is part of a broader issue of protecting the country by protecting our borders.
Fair enough. Irene, we thank you for your time. Howie, we're going to ask you to come back on the other side with the upcoming midterms, an important poll we want to take a look at from New Hampshire. Thanks to you both. America's Forum will continue after this time out.